So this so-called tier list is based on not on killer strength or anything. It's just based on their originality and their, well, fun to playness. Well, in my opinion, of course, obviously it's a subjective thing. But as always, I'll try to back it up with objective facts. And let's begin. Maybe I'll make actual power tier list. I mean, killers powers tier list in terms of how good they are actually later, but that's for later. Okay, so let's begin with the most interesting ones. Nurse. Anybody has like any doubts, any questions about this girl? Obviously she's different, she's unique, she's not like anybody else. She's the only hunter whose basic movement speed is lower than Survivor's movement speed, so she absolutely has to rely on her power, and her power is absolutely overpowered. Just power overpowered. I guess you can say that in English, as long as English is not your native language. Otherwise, I don't know. She shouldn't really care. Well, that's the thing. She's just the slowest killer in the game, and she has insanely strong power. She's definitely different, definitely unique. Nobody of those 19 killers left, none of them is like her. She's unique. In terms of gameplay, I personally don't like playing her. I find it not fun, but this fun to play thing is like very subjective. But objectively she's unique, I admit this. That's why she's at the top of the tier. Oh, by the way, I should mention that the way I look at the things here, I'm looking at like hunters without perks and add-ons, because in my opinion, hunter who needs perks or add-ons, this is not a good hunter. Because like look at Billy and Nurse, for example. Those two don't need any like perks or add-ons. They don't care. You face against them, it's just if they don't have perks or add-ons, they're still Billy and Nurse. They can still destroy you completely, like no problem. If you're like playing, for example, I don't know, this guy, well, good luck. Just good luck playing him without perks and add-ons. Survivors really have to mess things up a lot, so they could lose the game. Alright, and before I started, I should actually look at another thing. I mean, point out another thing. The thing is, killer stats. I just want to point out that killer stats make almost no difference. What stats killers have in this game? Anybody knows? Raise your hand, guys. Oh, nobody? Okay, I'll tell you. So, the thing is, let's start with movement speed. Movement speed is slightly different. Some of killers have 4.6 meters per second, some of them have 4.4. And it doesn't really change in any other ways. I mean, we have tier 1 Myers, but he's literally unplayable while he's tier 1, so unless you're going for this build. We're talking about killers without perks and add-ons. So, yeah, he's unplayable at tier 1. That's the idea. So, you will basically have 4.6 playing Myers all the time. So, some killers are slightly slower than the others. No big difference in movement speed, like an Identity 5, for example. Another stat is terror radius. Yet again, some of them has 36 meters or 32, I don't remember to be honest. And the others have 24, 28. Yet again, doesn't make much difference. Maybe it makes some difference for survivors since they react to Hunter not that fast, but in terms of gameplay for Hunter, changes completely nothing. Basically, it's like whatever is your terror radius, you play the same way. You just walk up to survivor, chase him, and depending on whom you're playing, well, actions vary. But most of the time you just M1 them, you know the story. Alright, so now that we cleared it out, oh, another thing, normal attacks. Normal attacks in this game are completely similar, let's move on. But I'm not kidding, like hitboxes of normal attacks in this game completely similar. I don't know why they decided to do it this way, because some of the counters have like small butterfly knife as a weapon, and some of them have giant two-handed sword, But hitboxes are similar. That's why so many people complain about hitboxes, because attacks hit when they visually don't hit. So just so you know, kids, it's a normal thing. This is the way its behavior intended it. They wanted all the hunters to have the same normal attack hitbox. Why did they want for it? That's a different question, because I really think like Pyramid Head should have bigger hitbox, obviously. But okay, no big deal. Now that out of the way, let's go back to our originality tier list. Next up is Billy. He's not, to think of it, he's not really original. Basically, he can be played as a regular M1 hunter, but you never play it because his power is so good and he's so damn fun to play. Actually, the reason he is up so high is because he's fun to play. So this one is subjective, actually, because objectively he's not really original. Because what he does is that he charges his power and he can move across the map with the highest speed possible in the game, and that's pretty much it. That's all his power. Oh, also he can one-hit down survivors, but it's not like it makes him original or interesting, the fact that he can one-hit down survivors. What makes him fun to play is his movement speed while he's using his power. Just so fun to run around using his chainsaw. Definitely fun to play guy. Another guy, this one. You know, if we keep Hillbilly in mind, if we just keep in mind the fact that there's this guy, then this guy goes like straight over here. Because, well, they're just adding another hunter. I mean, they're just ripping off their another killer's power from their own game and applying it to different killer. I mean, of course it's somewhat different, but not in a good way. His power, he's basically Billy on steroids, but only when it's charged, when his power is charged. Once it's not charged, let's say, I don't know, he's just M1 hunter with basic stats: 4.6 movement speed, 32 meters stare radius, you know the drill. I'm pretty confident it's 32. I should check. Let's check. Yeah, it's 32. So, yeah, I'd say that. Not really, but I don't know. Let's close eyes on the fact that there is a hillbilly in this game, and then he's here, because he's actually fun to play when he has his power. When he doesn't have a charge, he's just M1 killer, and not interesting, really. So there he goes. At least some effort put in his power. They just decided to make Billy on steroids, but limit his ability to use his ability. Ability to damn. I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at speaking. Would you ever think I would be bad at something like this? Might as well be bad at walking or something like this. Or the breathing. Huntress. So just Huntress. It's not like she's original. She's just basically a slower hunter with ranged attack. But I don't know, the way you feel when you play it. This is yet again subjective, because objectively she should be here, but subjectively just the way it feels when you play her is just different. It's just everybody's hiding from you. It's so hard to find anybody because you give away yourself from such a huge distance. See, for her, terror radius actually makes difference. There are exceptions in every rule. For her and for Myers, basically, they are the only exceptions. Damn, I'm already spoiling all the fun. Just the way she's played. I don't know, for whatever reason, she feels like she's slower than 4.4 meters per second. And you really want to hit survivors with the hatchet. That's the thing. Besides, you're not going on recovery animation, so it's highly recommended to score the first hit with the hatchet anyway. Besides, you can make those long range hatchet throws, the snipes, if she has like barbecue and chill or can see survivor from far away somehow. Nah, it's fine. It's okay for YouTube video, it's okay. If I will even upload this, we'll see about that. Okay, so there she goes, but yet again, it's subjective. I actually think she's not that original, just I feel like she's a lot different from other hunters, even though maybe she's not that different. Okay, this guy I don't actually know. I just know his, let's say, basically his hunters on steroids. This is what it feels like, but I don't know about his originality. He's just M1 hunter. You know what? We'll think about him later. Next up, who is else interesting? This guy. I actually maybe should put him here. You know, the idea behind this guy is great. It's just the moment I realized how you play him, after I bought him and tried him and I found out, oh, this is how you play him. My mind was blown. Idea is really good. I don't even do it like this. Just the idea of his power, in case you don't know, is that he can apply exposed status effect to survivors if he's stuck in them, like Myers. But the thing is, his power can be denied if survivors see him. Like if survivors see at least 20% of his physical model, then he snaps out. I mean, look at him for some time, at least 20% of his physical model. Then he snaps out of his power and power goes on cooldown, which is I believe 30 seconds. So now you can't apply your exposed effect to anybody. Idea was insane. Basically you play hide and seek with survivors, because if survivors know where you are, and we're talking about tournament settings here, we're talking about 4 team with voice comms, 4 players team with voice comms, and if they know where he is, then he can't do a thing with his power. He can't use his power basically, and the best strategy for him is just to use his power and try to sneak on them and score one hit for free. So, like I said, idea is good. He's up here because of the idea. The problem is it's not working. Like I said, if team of 4 survivors, even without perks, we're looking at perkless, ironless thing right here. Like I said, one of them knows where he is. Everybody knows where he is. He can't use his power, just like this. And it wouldn't be such a big problem if not one thing in a way. He has first-person view, like every other killer in the game, and survivors have third-person view. So his power practically doesn't work. They always see him. They always find him first. He barely able to to use his power. But I don't know. Maybe the idea is just stack as much as you can now, then they snap out of your power and you chase them regularly and stuff. I don't know. And you finish that exposed thing later. I don't know, really. But the thing is, we're not talking about power here, we're talking about originality, and the idea behind this killer is really good. This is why he's up there. So the fact that his power doesn't work has nothing to do with it. Next up, who can be also somewhat original? This guy. I personally like Demogorgon. Really, he's pretty much the only mob control based killer in the game. Let's say his mob control is a joke compared to mob control of some hunters in Identity 5, but still, that's at least something. He has portals, he has insane amount of them, he can place them anywhere he wants, anytime he wants. Setting up portal takes little to no time at all. You just use them, spam them anywhere. You can teleport between them very fast. Cooldown's power is very short. I don't know what it is, but it's really short. He's all about utilizing those teleports. That's really cool. Also, he has that skill shot, which is his shred ability. Yet again, I wouldn't say it makes him somewhat original. It's basically a thing that helps him in chases, but still, he has a skill shot that makes him somewhat different. I mean, most of the hunters in this game don't actually have skill shots, so that's at least something. That's also bonus points for this guy. Next up, who else is somewhat interesting, at least? Okay, this girl, I don't know. She's actually considered really good, but in my opinion, nah. Let's say you're playing against good survivors. The moment they hear that you're approaching, they hear this sound they don't start running, they start walking away, and that's it, like in that song, walking away. Damn, I should edit this, I should cut it out. So, and in case they don't run, her power out of just speed boots that lets her get hit for free becomes basically heads or tails. If she guesses right, she scores a free hit, her power goes on cooldown, and now she has to chase Survivor with her regular movement speed, which is 4.4 meters per second, so good luck with that. If she guesses wrong, her power goes on cooldown, and now she has to chase Survivor with her regular movement speed, which is 4.4 meters per second, so good luck with that. So I would say she's really original in that terms. She's... Compared to the most hunters of this game, in terms of strength, she's good. Like, if you guess right all the time, if you read Survivors. But we're not talking about power here, we're talking about originality. And technically she's just M1 hunter with reduced movement speed, but with ability to become completely invisible for some time and get movement speed boost, and that's it. That's all she's got. So in terms of originality, there's nothing special about her. Next up, this girl. I actually don't know where to put her. I never played her, I don't even own her. I know how her power works though, I watched some videos on YouTube, obviously, duh. There are some people in 2020 who still watch videos on YouTube, who would have thought. But I like the idea, is like, if she chases Survivor, she gets to him, she can, like, make her choice. She gets a hit, which is totally fair, or she pukes on him, risking not stacking enough puke on him and him getting to the pallet. But if she gets it, then she puts Survivor in a tricky situation. He can not heal at all, but then he will go down to one hit for the rest of the game, or he can heal using Fountain and give her ranged attack. Damn, it's just... She actually should be here at least. Because I really like this. The idea behind this, like, make your choice, the pick your poison thing, it's really cool stuff. I like it. Like, really. Alright, and I'm looking at the rest of the roster. And I don't see anything good. Okay. Let's start with, I believe, like, strongest ones, I guess. This guy. Okay, he's basically Enchantress, why Enchantress? Huntress on steroids. It's like, he needs to recharge his power every shot, but he can't do it in place, it's really fast, he doesn't need to go to locker to do that, even though he has only one charge. He can basically score one hit from distance, also his power is much easier to hit than Enchantress's. He can basically score one hit with his rifle, then chase Survivor regularly since he has normal movement speed. And then, like, if Survivor actually runs to pallet or window, makes it to some loop or infinite, then he can, like, reload his rifle, because he's not really losing anything. It's not like Survivor gonna be running in a straight line, he'll be running around here. If you're staying in place, so does Survivor. And score another hit with his rifle. I think he's pretty strong, but in terms of originality, he's just default character with a skill shot. Actually, you know, since he has a skill shot, let's put him here at least. At least he has skill shot. This guy also has skill shot. God damn it, oh my god, what did they do to my sweet, sweet little pyramid head? Oh my god, like, really, this is terrible. Giving him regular movement speed, giving him regular terror radius, and all he's got is ranged AoE skill shot and ability to place survivors on hooks without hooks. That's it. Like really, this is what that's what Pyramid Head should be doing, in your opinion. Like a million years ago, while I was still playing this game, while I was waiting for my infinite load to end, I used to search through, Shift Tab, open the community page and look through guides, looking for hunter ideas. I mean, killer ideas. I'm sorry, I'm playing Dead 5. I'm used to calling them hunters. No big deal. In my humble opinion, if it insults you, please write about this in the commentary that I'm trash. I shouldn't be calling killers hunters. So will be very appreciated. The thing about this guy is like, yeah, so I've been looking through community guides, looking for killer ideas just for fun. I knew they will never make hunters like this. I don't remember, some guy wrote something about Pyramid Head. I don't remember what exactly there was, but at least his movement speed was, I believe, regular Survivor's movement speed, 4 meters per second. And his power was, I don't remember what it was, but I bet it's something more interesting than what they did to him. And then I'm pretty sure there was like some guy in behavior who was, oh my god, we're adding Pyramid Head into the game. Oh, this is so exciting. I want to make such a cool power for him, such an interesting power. And somebody breaks in and he's like, hey, kid, you cut it off, okay? We tried it twice by now. Both times it didn't work. Let's not risk it. Give him regular movement speed and something, I don't know, like a ranged skill shot, something like this, and maybe ability to hook survivors without hooks, something like this. Like, and this is how Pyramid Head was applied to this game. Damn it. Okay, let's move on now, I guess. The hack probably could have been here since she's somewhat different, but I really don't feel like. Actually, whatever, let her be here. Okay. So you know how her power works, okay? She's a slow 4.4 meters per second M1 killer who can place traps which she can teleport to if survivors step on them and don't crouch over them. To be honest, most of the time, not only by me, I barely even played her. I played her like 3 times, I got trashed completely all 3 times, I never tried again. But from what I've seen, like from YouTube videos and from streamers and stuff like that, most of the time when they make it to, when they teleport, when somebody steps on a trap and they teleport to it, they still don't score a free hit. It rarely happens. And most of the time, survivor still makes it to pallet or window or whatever. So in the end, you still chase survivor on foot. Just you really do. So damn, I really want to put her here because this is what she does. She just chases survivor on some foot and then wants them. The only problem is that your movement speed is reduced. Good thing is that your terror radius is reduced, but since your movement speed is reduced, it compensates it a lot. I wouldn't call her original, but okay, I'll put her here just because she's at least somewhat different from the rest of us stock, damn it. Poor little hag. Okay, this guy. I would like to put him here because he has ranged skill shot, but my god, the skill shot is so simple, it's so cheap, it's just... No, you don't deserve place up there. Even if you have a skill shot, just... whatever. So, this guy, definitely M1 killer. Regular stats, regular movement speed, regular terror radius. The only way of him dealing damage is M1 in survivors with his regular attack. Just the only way. And the thing is, survivors, like, if survivor is very far away, he can easily react to where you threw the bottle. They can actually see bottle flying, and they just can slightly change direction of movement, no big deal. Unless they're running towards the pallet, then they should keep running towards the pallet because his power won't do anything, because it's just laughable 5%, I believe, for miserable 5 seconds. Slow down, I don't know. And a distance at which survivors can't dodge his power. At this distance it barely even matters, because if you're in this distance you probably can finish the chase on your own with your regular movement speed and won them. Not only his power doesn't work, it's also not original. It just, I don't know. And he has to recharge his bottles manually, and it takes eternity, and he's so slow, you can just as well stay in place while recharging them. Just terrible. He will need something else to his power, or a total rework. That would be great. Like, really, he's so boring, and he's so weak, to be honest. Like, really, he's terrible. Michael Myers used to be my favorite killer in the game until I realized that he's boring, because all I do is M1 survivors. Literally all you do with this guy. He's strong. He's like strong. Like, not the top tier, definitely not Billy, not Nurse, but he's still like okay. Because he basically doesn't have terror radius once you equip Monitor and Abuse, but even without it, it's just 16 meters. And it's 16 meters, and your movement speed is 4.6 meters per second, which means that technically you can, if Survivor stands in place, then you close the distance in less than 4 seconds before he starts hearing your terror radius. Starts hearing your terror, I guess I should be calling it just terror. He has ability to one-hit down survivors, he has passive that increases his vaulting speed, and passive that decreases his terror radius, like I said earlier. It's very good in terms of strength, he's terrible in terms of originality. To begin with, when I just first found out him, I really liked the idea. I liked the fact that they implied the idea of Michael Myers from John Carpenter's movies so well to him. Because basically this is what he does in the movies, he's just staring at people for like 2/3 of a movie, and for the last third he starts killing them. This is what he does technically. He grows stronger just staring at people, and when he's strong enough he starts killing them. It was a good idea, but I don't know, I like it. I actually like the idea behind this, but in terms of gameplay it was not well done. Let's say it doesn't have many counterplays, so let's say it's cheap. He can basically stack his power anytime he wants, and he's still just M1 survivors. The only way of him dealing damage is M1. He just survivors. Basically, he's M1 killer with increased vaulting speed, with decreased terror radius, and with ability to one-hit down survivors once he charges his power. That's it. In these terms, he's somewhat like this guy. I forgot this guy's name. I believe it's it's a name, Oni it is, okay. Kazan Yamaoka his name is. So yeah, in terms of originality, it's just you're M1 and survivors, that's all. Okay, this guy. M1 killer with M2 button. Nothing else to say. He's basically M1 killer who can situationally down survivor in one hit. That's it. That's all his power. I don't know, like, people online say in their like tier lists, they put him like the last. They say that he's the worst hunter in the game. I mean, come on, he can one hit down survivor. Situationally, yes, but he can one hit down survivor. Sometimes it makes all the change in the game. Hunters who can't do that are way worse, like Rayfair was than him in terms of power. But okay, let's not focus on power now. But he's definitely boring, straightforward, not original, not interesting design, just whatever. Behave added him just because they got licensed. They had his ripoff in this game. Can you please move? Thank you. And they added him because they got licensed. They realized, oh, we can add actual Leatherface to the game, so let's do it. And but what power should we give him? He has chainsaw. We already have a character who should have had like Booba's power, right? So we should come up with something, and we should do it fast. And this is the best they came up with. I don't know. Oh my god, Freddy. Community, for whatever reasons, considers him top tier. I don't know. Maybe if you equip add-on that gives them like ability to create fake palettes, and add-on that reduces survivors' interaction speed in the dream world. Yes, we're talking about tournament settings here, okay? No perks, no add-ons. And if we look at Freddy without perks and add-ons, what do we see? Well, turns out nothing good. He's just regular M1 Hinter, M1 Hinter. You know, like, I decided to make something different between Hunter and Killer, and that's how Hinter was made. The legend was born. So he's regular M1 Killer with reduced terror radius. He has two powers, one of which is Dream Snare. Dream Snares, he has multiple stacks of them. Basically infinite, technically. And what does Dream Snare do? Well, technically it's Clown's power on discount. It's basically a worse version of Clown's power. You can set them in chases since you can place them only in front of them. You can just throw them at survivors. So you have to set them up ahead. They have very small hitbox. They're just laughable. Survivors never run into them. They're easy to see, easy to notice. And then again, they slow down, I believe, by miserable 5%, but for laughable 5 seconds. Don't make much difference 99% of the times. And one time they prevent survivor from fast vaulting. I believe it's the only use that's like possible for them. They're terrible otherwise. So yeah. Oh, he also has a secondary ability, which is teleport to gens, which makes him something like map control killer, but really. Teleporting to generator once in eternity, which is, I believe, 45 seconds by default and minus 15% for every survivor in the gym world. That's actually a lot, you know? Yeah, not really a map control, because cooldown is so long, you can't use it all the time. And also, by the way, you announce your presence while you do it. Like, really. You just... The generator starts bleeding, your husk appears out of it, the cast of a teleport takes, what, like 4 or 5 seconds? Survivors just run away. Damn it. This... Gosh, he's so bad. Reduced terror radius is the only good thing about him, pretty much. And to be honest, this generated teleport thing can be somewhat useful as well. Yeah, it's not so bad, it's just cooldown is so long. Oh, another thing about his Dream Snares. They are useless in the first place, but when you think of it, if Survivor is not in a dream world, like if he didn't get hit in the first place, then he can ignore him completely. He won't even see him and they won't affect him. So yeah, he's terrible actually. Okay, next up, this one guy. He's like very loved in community, and I used to like to play him as well, you know. Maybe put him here because he has skill shot. His skill shot doesn't deal damage, that's the problem. So what does he has? In most recent rework, they removed his second stance, which is definitely a good thing, because now he doesn't have to slow him down all the time. He wants to use his secondary, whenever he wants to use his power overly. And overall, I'd say they boosted his chase power because they increased Conus, this cone like areas hitbox, so maybe you'll catch up to survivor, prevent them from down pallet or vaulting window more often than you could do it previously. Maybe very situational thing in my opinion. Probably doesn't help much. People who actually played Doctor after his rework, please write a comment, tell me is he better or not. But in my opinion he's better because he became better in chases, and chases are really important. And what was nerfed is, well, everything else. Now he doesn't have such a good detection. People removed, I believe Behavior removed his detection power because, well, it didn't have counterplay. You're in his terror areas, he knows where you are. Not for long though, he can do it only once per game, twice technically, but when he'll get a second stack on you, your position probably won't matter, so the only time it matters is the very beginning of the game. So technically, yeah, he can do it only once a game. That was nerfed. Now he has to take a guess using his secondary power in order to, like, find survivors around, and if he guesses wrong, well, there goes his secondary power, and cooldown I believe is 45 seconds as well, or something like this, very long. There goes his detection ability, which was not as good in the first place. And he also has a bunch of gimmicks that were also nerfed a lot in his rework. None of those gimmicks work against good survivors, like none of them. I don't know, but they probably don't even care. The time when I used to play Survivor, there was a little short period of time when I was consistently playing Survivor because playing Killers for me was stressful, but then I came back to Killers anyway because playing Survivors was boring as hell. So yeah, there was a time when I was playing Survivor, and for me the fact that skill checks appeared in random places on the screen was not a problem at all. If I would try it now, I would probably miss every skill check even without his gimmick, but back then, like, even I playing Survivor for quite a short time, didn't care about this gimmick at all. Those things with red stain behind your back, with fake terror radius, they just don't work. Terror radius has constant, like, volume. If you hear him approaching you, you hear his terror rising in time. When his gimmick terror thing starts working, it's just constant heartbeat. It doesn't change. It starts like when he's already, I don't know, 16 meters away from you, like he's pretty close. So you can say it doesn't work. Red stain, it's a joke, completely. Maybe it can help in chases, but I don't know. That never helped doctors against me playing Survivor. Pretty much the only useful thing with his gimmicky part is the errand that creates fake pallets. This one's useful. And that's all he's got. And don't forget, the only way to deal damage to survivors as him is to M1 them. So he's clearly M1 killer. M1 killer with something like detection once per 45 seconds. Also can be combined with whispers, maybe, but then again whispers works on down survivors and on hook survivors as well, so situational thing. So M1 hunter with something like detection, with something like chase power, very situational, very bad compared to even Clown's power, to be honest. Clown's chase power is better, but maybe still better than Freddy's. Questionable, actually. And a bunch of gimmicks that don't work against like good or at least average survivors. That's what you get. Original? Not really. I really don't get it why people say that he's fun to play. I don't find him fun to play. It's just shock survivor and want him. Rinse and repeat. I'll leave you for later, sugar. Trapper. But this is a map control healer. He's all about zoning. Don't make me laugh. Good survivors see his traps from a mile away, unless of course you have those two add-ons that make them almost invisible. Very good add-ons, but we're talking about tournament settings right here, so no add-ons, guys. Sorry. He has one trap. His power doesn't recharge automatically. He can't go to like some consistent place that are everywhere. Like he can't get it from like closets. He only can collect them basically around the map, and they spawn at random. And the thing is, time is very important in this game. You really want to apply pressure. You really want to chase survivors. You really don't want to give them time to gen rush you. So you're walking around the map, placing traps in strategic, optimal places, and there go two generators, like really easily. Just because you decided to place two traps before you'll go for a hunt. Yeah. So it was a bad idea in the first place. It's even worse when survivors don't get caught by it, and most of the times they will not, unfortunately. Really, so his power, he still has to, it's not like he can just go around map, place traps everywhere and wait for survivors to walk into them. Obviously they will not. His main power is still chase them and M1 them. And the thing is that his power, the bear traps, is actually a very questionable thing to begin with. Like I said, you spend time to use this power. Power that might not even work at all. Nobody might run to it. It's a good thing if Survivor will just be running away from you, he'll see your trap in front of a pallet and he'll decide to give you a free hit instead. Well, that somehow made it work. Was it worth it? Remember how much time you wasted going all the way across the map, picking up this bear trap and setting it next to this pallet? I'm not even talking about the fact that most of the time somebody says, "Oh, okay guys, it's Trapper, I'll be following him and disarming his traps." And everybody's, "Oh, okay, we'll gen rush him." Yeah. So it's like, your power is a trade-off, it's not even power. And since it's not gonna work most of the time, why even bother? Why not just chase survivors and M1 them regularly? The only good thing about his power is that, like I said, sometimes it catches survivors off guard when it's placed in grass somewhere where they don't have much place, like where they can't run around it, like a closed space with the grass. Also, his power is actually good at Larry's Memorial, but then again, you're trading off your time, and you still might not get lucky. Because, like I said, but still on this map, it might pay off, because, like, at best, when you'll be chasing Survivor will be approaching window from the side where trap is not placed. He will vault the window without seeing what's on the other side, he can't, and he'll get free hook. If he approaches it from the other side, if you didn't get that lucky, okay, you get free hit. Unless he'll make it to another window or a pallet, because there are so many windows on this map. Can't shop them all, you know. Still trade-off, still risky thing, but I don't know. Really, damn, like, just chase them regularly and don't want them. Or don't play Trapper at all, also a good solution. Wraith. So many people rate him, I don't know why. Okay, ability to, like, add-on, ultra-rare add-on that basically removes the sound of him ringing his bell is pretty good. Lets him sneak up on survivors for free. But you know what? You know who can do it for free as well? This guy. Can sneak on survivors for free anytime, any day, whatever. Just doesn't care. Okay, we're not talking about strength yet again. I'm always talking about it. I always complain about, but that's also a major problem. Not only originality of the killers, not originality, more like their stubbornness, boringness, I don't know. It's also their power disbalance, because most of them are terrible and some of them are way too good compared to the others, and I don't know, this, let's say, killer disbalance is real in this game. Okay, so this guy can remove his terror radius, get movement speed boost, while and he's unable to attack survivors while he's in this state. In order to be able to attack them, he has to announce his presence all the way across the map, pretty much. And that's it, that's all about him. He's a M1 hunter who can hide his terror radius and get bonus movement speed. That's all. Why do you guys rate him so high? He's not really good. Like, not at all. Imagine playing this guy without add-ons and perks. You will never win. Legend. So many tears shed, so much blood spilled. My poor little legend, what did they do to you? They turned him into M1 hunter. And it wouldn't be a big deal if I wouldn't care about him in the first place, like I didn't care about Freddy. But I actually cared about him, I actually liked him. Oh my god, what they did. So, okay, this guy is M1 hunter. Obviously. What does his power do? It gives him bonus movement speed, and it renders him unable to see survivors' scratch marks. But once he hits survivor, he is able to see other survivors nearby if they are in his terror radius. That's all. Oh, he can also vault pallets in this state and vault windows faster. That's actually important. How do you use it? Let's say you play again tournament settings. No perks, no add-ons, 4 survivors with voice comms. First of all, you can't use it to deal damage to multiple survivors, because, well, they will not be repairing together in the first place. So the moment you hit the first survivor, you can't switch target at all, unless like they really messed up and their next survivor is right next to you, then you can hit them as well. But like I said, against good survivors with voice comms, it just doesn't happen. Don't switch. What's the idea? What's the catch? You get a first hit, let's say for free, maybe for free, it's questionable, because you can still mess up if survivor will make it to pallet, and then it becomes like mix-up game, like you're playing neutral with survivor, because you can get hit by pallet and then your power goes on cooldown. You can try to hit him, but he might run away from pallet that moment, and your attack will whiff, and you get stunned. And the question is, should you have used your power in the first place? Maybe you should have chased him regularly and used your one attack normally to begin with. If you saw him that he makes it to a pallet anyway. So yeah, his power actually has usage. Like I said, if you see that if you chase survivor normally, your power is ready, and you see that he makes it to pallet, but you understand that you can catch up with him if you use your power, it's a free hit. If survivor drops pallet in your face, you have your power ready. You use it, vault pallet, it's a free hit. But that's all that power gives him. That's all. Just one free hit, nothing more. Like I said, he's perkless, analyst. To be honest, perks and add-ons don't really help at all. This bleed out thing doesn't work, like 100%. Since the moment of his rework, I tried it millions of times, just sometimes when basically every time I had Frank's mixtape and that other add-on, that anatomy book page, something like, I equipped them, I equipped according perks, and I tried my best to like force survivors to go down due to bleeding. I try not to hit them with normal attacks at all, I just hit them with power attacks. I hit them while they were bleeding out just to apply additional bleeding. How many survivors went down due to bleeding? Well, since his rework, 0. Not a single one. Bleed out just doesn't work at all. Forget about it. Such a shame, he had such a good idea behind him. He was so different, so original. He was broken though, yeah, but instead of fixing these problems, this is what behavior did. They just turned him into M1 Hunter. Okay, so this is it. Like I said, those are situations where you can use his power. The problem is, if survivor actually makes it to pallet in the first situation, like I said, it's a mix-up game. And if you fail, if you don't read survivor's action correctly, you get stunned for eternity. I believe it's 4 seconds. It's eternity in this game, really. And then you realize that if you wouldn't use your power, you'd be in a better position. And the second situation, like I said, if you like vault pallet, well, let's say you can still whiff attack. I mean, you can easily. It's not that easy to dodge his power attack, but still, you can whiff it. There's always a possibility for that. Everybody messes it up. And if you miss it, well, guess what? 4 seconds stun. So, I guess it would be better to just break the pallet and continue chase regularly. That's the problem. His power doesn't work. In my situation, will really help you, like I said, if you get pallet dropped in your face. But Pig. What's original about her? Nothing, basically. She's God, she's so loud in community. Damn, if I would think that this video will get something like an attention, I would expect so many dislikes, so many angry comments under this video. But I know they won't happen because this video will not be found on YouTube by anybody, so I don't care. It's my subjective opinion, but like I said, as always, it's backed up by objective facts. She's M1 killer. Prove me wrong. What else she has? Reversed bear traps. Reversed bear traps can go... Let's not use curses because this video will probably be uploaded on YouTube. They don't work at all. Let's say survivors not optimal, not in voice comms, whatever. It still doesn't work. Survivors have so much time to take it off. Oh my god, this is insane. And the survivors actually 4 team in voice comms. They just don't finish the last. They just don't finish generators. They just 99 them. While somebody has bear trap. The people with bear traps on their heads might not even look for keys, so it might not even buy her any time. In fact, they might be just preparing as anybody else, just not finishing any cipher. And when you get 4 ciphers pop, just like this, you lose the game. It doesn't work. Just reverse bear traps don't work at all. Her secondary power is crouching. It takes her turn to crouch, it takes her turn to get up. She also can use this charge attack, which is completely useless, never use it. So how do you use it? Well, in case you think survivors are working at the generator, which has obstacles around it that obstruct their vision of their wonderful third-person view, you can sneak up on them. So this power actually can be used. The problem is, I know a guy who can do it for free without reducing his field of view and slowing down his movement speed, in fact increasing it. This guy. And also we have this guy who can do exactly the same thing, but without bonus movement speed, but without annunciation of his presence, like, I'm here guys, run away. Just, I don't know, she's so bad. Her powers just don't work. So she's M1 killer who can hide her terror radios, but pay a huge price for it. And that's all she's got. In my opinion, probably the worst killer in the game. I'm sorry, community, but I just objectively proved it. If I don't know something, just really, if she's got buffed, if she's insanely good, if like you can work somehow around her power, like force survivors to repair generators, force survivors not to look for keys, I don't know, write it down in the comments. I'd be glad to read your fairy tales and laugh at them. Okay, so the thing is, some of you might argue that she can use her crouching ability in order to counter loops. Like when survivor runs around the pallet, she can crouch, charge her dash attack, since she moves so fast when she uses it, and catch survivor off guard and score a free hit. No, she can't. Crouching takes eternity, like I said. Survivor sees it. Survivor runs in a straight line. Now what do? Well, obviously you don't use your charge attack because you're gonna waste time. Obviously you don't continue chasing him while crouching because you move slower than him right now. You stand up, chase him regularly. And by the time you'll do it, since there was already quite a distance between you two, you were on one side of a pallet loop, he was on the other side. He already makes it to the next pallet or window. That's it. Survivors have eternity to react to you crouching. Like, it doesn't work. It never works. And that's it. That's my originality tier list. See problems here. Like, a single problem. Like, look. We have tons of boring killers. 3 boring killers with skill shots, let's say them. Not a boring killer with, I don't know, just mix up, just boring killer that can play heads or tails, basically. Maybe I should move you here, actually. Okay, whatever. This guy's a ripoff of the other guy. This guy's actually interesting, he's map control killer, but he's still M1, but at least he's got some depth to his power. This girl, I'm actually not sure, maybe she should be here as well. I mean here, or here, I don't know. I'm still not sure about her, really. But it's like, she can create interesting in-game situations, and she's played somewhat different from the other killers. So, okay. This girl is perfect, absolutely love her. I wish every killer in the game would be that unique. This guy's just fun to play, not really original though. This guy has original idea behind it, but it doesn't work. And this girl, subjectively, she probably should be, I don't know, lower than where she is, but subjectively I just feel different when I'm playing her. When I played her, I'm not even playing the game. Alright, so that's it. That's the problem. Killers are boring. And you know what? Let's make a power-based tier list now. Guess what? It won't be much different. That's the thing. Okay, I definitely cut it out. I definitely cut it out. Actually, I'm really not sure. Okay, this girl is damn strong, overpowered, but difficult to play. This guy is easy to play and he's damn overpowered. You know what? Those three should be here, I think, on those terms, just because. Yeah, that's power tier list. Just obviously Billy is not as strong as Nurse, but he's just so much easier to play. So I guess he can be put here as well. This guy, like I said, is Billy on steroids, but he needs to charge his power. These two are potentially strong, but yet again, very hard to play. Actually, Huntress is harder to play than this guy, so I'd say it looks something like this. This guy, I'm really not sure. Maybe he should be lower somewhere. I don't know, but his mob control is really good, and Shred helps a lot. Okay, he should be here. Hunter's just impossible to hit Hunches. Like, damn. Your wind-up speed without Irons is terrible. You can't really counter pallets with this because Suarez can react to it easily because wind-up speed is so slow. That's why she's here. I want to point out why I put here some like controversial killers, because many people would suggest that she should be here, but no, it's just my opinion. Like I said, without add-ons on wind-up speed, your wind-up speed is so slow, so ours have eternity to react to you winding up a hatchet, and even if they don't, you still can throw it right away, even if you started winding up like right before Survivor dropped the pallet, he can still crouch in front of it. You really have to do it ahead, before he throws down pallet, and if you do this, Survivor reacts to it and he doesn't drop it. Technically, of course, you can still get free hits when Survivors run away from you in an open field, but it's a guessing game. It's not like you can somehow secure hit for sure, you can't. You have to guess where Survivor will dodge or will he dodge at all. So yeah, it's just 50-50, like I said, heads or tails. Good thing about her, she doesn't get punished much, she just loses one of your 5 hatchets. And she loses movement speed because she moves a lot slower when she winds up her hatchet and while she's recovering from hatchet throw. Not big punishment, in my opinion, then that's why she should be here. Maybe actually even here. I don't know. Because potentially, like I said, she's strong, but she's so hard to play. If you don't have wind up add-ons. This guy, mob control guy, he's really interesting. This girl, like I said, mix-ups. She's all about mix-ups, she's all about the guessing game. The problem about her and Huntress is she gets punished more heavily. If she doesn't get hit, well, her power goes on cooldown anyway, but if she doesn't score a hit, then she has to chase Survivor with her reduced movement speed, and she doesn't have hatchets. That's the problem, so good luck with that one. I repeat it for the 3rd time, I'm terrible, I know. So, yeah, not a good thing. That's the problem about her. She's just playing the guessing game against good survivors, like I said. If survivors are bad, they just run, just follow scratch marks, get free hit. No big deal. If survivors are good, guessing game. And if you guess wrong, even if you guess right, you still have to chase survivor on foot, and he still buy a lot of time. Even if you'll get him with your power use next time, but still power recharge. A lot of time wasted, damn it. It's just... Actually, maybe I'll put her here. Michael! Actually, you know, I never played those guys. I'll remove guys I never played. I'll remove guys from... Can I remove you guys from here, please? I can't. Okay, I'll place you, And you here, just because I don't know just how strong you are, but I think, like, subjectively, from what I've seen so far, this is what it looks like, and but this is subjective, so actually let's keep them here. I don't know. This is very subjective. Like I said, I never tried them myself, and in terms, like, to realize killer's power, you really have to try them yourself. From what I've seen, those two are straight overpowered, and this girl potentially strong, but people complain about her being weak, so I don't know. I really don't know, but from what I know about her power, she's strong. Okay, Michael, I said it before, he's the best M1 killer in the game. Basically, you want to play anybody of this roster, any one of them. Play Myers instead. He's much better. Like, no doubts about it. This guy goes here because, like I said, his power doesn't work, but then again, sometimes maybe you'll get that exposed effect and thing. I don't know. This guy goes up here because one hit down survivor is a very good thing, actually. Many people complain about him being bad, and they put him here because he has straight upgrade to him, which is Hillbilly, but come on. This game has straight upgrade to Pig as well. This game has straight upgrade to Wraith as well. So, no big deal. Like I said, his power just doesn't work. This guy won't hit down survivors. Michael, best M1 counter in the game, especially if you have monitor and abuse, but even if you don't, well, still very small terror radius and slightly increased vaulting speed helps a lot, actually. In chases, and his tier 3 evil within is insane thing. Especially if it's used properly. Guess in game, this is very subjective. Bob won't hit down survivors. Maybe you get something once in a turn, this exposed status effects, and maybe it turns the game around. So let's not put them at the very bottom, though. I actually think he deserves to be here. At very least, he can use his power, like, to hide his terror radius without Wraith things, but he has cooldown on it, and he can use it. Actually, I don't know. Let's place him here, because he can use it any other time as well, for a price of his reduced movement speed and field of view. But it doesn't take him eternity to crouch and get up. That's the thing. And that's it. These guys, I don't know. I don't even want to mess with them. Like, the very bottom, they're all terrible. I don't know. Yeah, let's actually try it. Let's try it. Something like a map control helps, maybe. Gimmicks. He doesn't really slow down any progress. I don't know. This guy's still better, probably. Trapper. Chops might work once in eternity. Hack, actually, I don't know where to put here. Like I said, I played here only like 3 times or something like this, and I got completely trashed. Many people actually say, oh, she's strong, she's overpowered, but come on, we saw this, like, thing by Mard88 was streaming this, and he uploaded videos on YouTube. The Peep Squad thing, they did 3 experiments. Hack was trashed every single time. They used, like, the best add-ons, the best, most optimal perks, nothing worked, nothing. And even without them, I think she's pretty bad, in my opinion. Most of the time, in the end, like I said, at the end of the day, she still has to chase survivor regularly, and she has reduced movement speed, and she doesn't have hatchets. So yeah, I'd say she's pretty bad. Legend. Damn. At least you have normal movement speed, you can just chase survivors regularly with your normal movement speed. Pig. I don't know, she has nothing. She basically has nothing, but I don't know, maybe Lisa's power can be somewhat effective if it's used properly. Actually, let's do it like this. I don't know. And this guy can hide his terror radius and increase movement speed. That's at least something. So I guess that's where it should be, but yet again, this power of killers at the very bottom is very subjective, like, except maybe for Pig, she's terrible. Yeah, I had to point it out. Like I said, maybe, like I said, Lisa Sherwood can be somewhat viable. I mean, compared to this trash tier, somewhat viable, it's not the correct words to use, but I guess you get the idea, right? And that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, but still, that bottom tier is very subjective, because most of these hunters' powers don't work or don't do much. So it's questionable. Like, let's say, Chopper's power is it's very good. It just gets you a free hit. Just not a free hit, it gets you a free down, basically. It's just free hook right away, easily. The problem is it doesn't work 99% of the time. But potentially it's better than any power of any other character in trash tier, so I should put him here, like, sort of ready here, because his power is so good, but like I said, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That's the thing about it. This guy has at least something that helps him in chases. Very situational, but at least something. This guy has something that helps in chases. This guy can teleport to Gen's once in eternity, helps him to prevent Gen Russians somewhat, and he has reduced terror radius, so that also helps, I guess, question mark. This guy removes his terror, gets bonus movement speed, and maybe his transparency helps situationally, I don't know, it's just, when you see him in the open field, it's like, oh, there he is, Bon boy, damn. We shouldn't be calling him like this because there's a hunter in Identity 5 named Bon. Whatever. You don't know this guy. You've never met him before. And that's it. That's it. So yeah. If you disagree with something, feel free to write whatever you want in the comments, because I feel like allowing you. Yeah, there's Emperor is generous today. Actually, you won't be typing anything because you won't be watching this video, because you won't find it on YouTube in the first place. So whatever, feel free to leave dislikes, angry comments if you actually found this video, and type something like Pig and Hag are actually top tiers and I'm trash, I know nothing about the game. Like I said, I would like to, I'll be glad to read your fairy tales about how you get 4 kills at red ranks with Hag every game without perks and add-ons. Sure. Alright, so this is it. That's all about their power, all I wanted to say. Nurse has been nerfed so many times and she's still the best killer in the game, like, damn. And finally, few words from the author himself. Like, basically the entire video was subjective opinion, but at least I tried to back up my subjective opinion with objective facts, like, look, this is movement speed, this is terror radius, this is power doesn't work, that's it, killer is trash. But the thing is, now I'm going to talk about I'm going to say very subjective things that have no facts to back them up. I just want to include them in a video just so you would understand why I left the game. Except for the fact that it had a lot of technical issues and half the time I couldn't even play it. Actually, that fact was the most important, to be honest. The second fact is, well, you see it on your screen, it's killer disbalance. And killer, not originality, their boringness. Is there even a word in English? Boringness? I don't know. That's a word in my vocabulary. Here it is. I pointed it out. I'm showing it on the camera, which I don't have. So, yeah, there it is. Killers are boring, and they're very disbalanced. Like, on high rank you play only basically those 6 killers. If you feel lucky, you play this and this as well. Anything else, just forget about it. Just don't. Well, actually, so it's easy for survivors to get to red ranks. Actually, a lot easier than for killers. So having red rank doesn't mean that survivor is good in the first place, to be honest. Okay, going up against full team in voice comms. You use just those 6 characters, actually those 4, because like I said, I don't know about these 2, but I suggest they should be strong enough. If you feel very lucky, this and this guy, and just nobody else. And this is how it goes. This is the story of killer's power in this game. Huge problem. I disagree, like, videos about my opinion here. Like, I disagree that Demogorgon is D tier, because, like I said, he has so many things behind his power. He places portals, he can place them anywhere, just place them all the time. You can do it mid-chase, it takes like a second to set a portal, it's very fast. He has shred ability, which helps him in chases a lot if you hit Survivor with it, and sometimes you just can get a free hit if you predict that he'll be vaulting the window and he vaults the window and you're at the other side. Like when you're chasing him around the shack, you get a free hit. Shred ability is really good. Portals that give him map control are really good as well. And the thing is, when he chases shred ability, he can see survivors that are next to his, like, I believe in 4-meter radius around his portal, so he also has something like vision. So let's say if you just place portals everywhere, you get at least one of two. You get map control or you buy time. Because it actually takes quite some time to get rid of portals. So in case survivors want to deny your portals, they have to waste time. If they don't deny it, you get tons of map control. You can appear anywhere. Not to mention that he doesn't like alert survivors of his presence. He just appears out of nowhere, here I am, and he even gets undetectable status effect after he does that. So I actually strongly disagree that he's the D tier. Even though visually, no, it's just my subjective opinion, but like I said, he just has so many things going on with his power. Like, look at this guy. All he has is those bottles that just suck. That's it. And Demogorgon has so many things going on with him, like really. Maybe he's at the same level as Michael Myers, actually. Should be somewhere around here. To be honest, Michael is actually viable. Alright, so this is it. That's the problem with the game. Disbalanced killers and boring killers. Killers are the main problem of this game. So, like I said, very subjective thing. Very subjective thing I want to talk about. Look here. How many times Behavior tried something new? When they just began, one of the oldest hunters in the game, this girl, and this guy. Those guys at the top, like I said. They're very interesting, original, like them a lot. This guy is most fun to play killer in the game. Everybody plays him, everybody loves him. He's wonderful, just the best character design 2020 or whenever he was released. Like I said, against good survivors, she previously was here, I believe, or here, I don't remember. I just placed her here just to show the difference. Like I said, I explained it earlier, because I didn't... You know, actually, I'll upload the video. You'll be able to watch the video, and I explained it earlier, why I don't think she's good. Against good survivors. Against good survivors, she's not that effective. I explained it why. I'll upload this video, you'll check it out. You might also check out the stream record, if you really want. Whatever. So, okay, subjective things. Very subjective things without facts to back them up. Since then, how many times Behavior tried something new, something interesting? They did it 2 times. Let's move everybody around, away from the tier list, so I could show it like objectively, I don't know. This guy. He was definitely something new. Like, he basically lives in a different, like, parallel universe, and he can't hit survivors unless he pulls them in the dream world. But once they're in the dream world, they suffer huge 50-second action speed penalty. That was insane. The idea was interesting. Too bad he turned out to be the worst killer in the game. What did Behavior do? Million years later, actually, but still they did. They made him M1 killer, like I said earlier. They made him exactly what I described, exactly what you might try for yourself if you decide to play him without perks and add-ons. Try it yourself, you'll find out that he's M1 killer who can teleport to a gen once in eternity, that's all he's got. And reduced terror radius, also. But he was original. He was different. He had an idea, it's like, why not to just buff him? Like, things they made in his rework. They added those alarm clocks, and they gave survivors another way of waking up, basically. But since waking up is not that big of a deal anymore, because he can hit you not in Dream World as well, he's not Freddy Krueger anymore, you know, because he can hit you in reality, and he can harm you in reality. It's not Freddy Krueger. Not anymore. The idea was there. Something was wrong with realization. So they could buff him, like, apply this part, that was good part. How about just add those alarm clocks to the game and remove the ability of survivors to wake up by failing skill checks. He probably still would not be viable, but he would become a lot better. It's actually less changes than what they actually made, and that still preserves his like uniqueness, if it's even a word. He's still unique, he's still different. Like, why not do it this way? Why not? Instead they decided, now let's make him a one killer. Because at 50% interaction speed penalty, it just forces survivors to go to those alarm clocks, and he might buy a lot of time this way. Maybe he would even become overpowered, I don't know. Probably not, because he can only pull survivors into Dream World when they are next to him, when he sees them, and his defensive game is still nothing. Survivors can still rescue each other right in front of him, there's nothing he can do about it. So yeah, I think he wouldn't become overpowered this way. Okay, the second time they tried to do something interesting is this guy. My favorite game design of all time. He was broken. He didn't work. Still, he was fun to play. It was fun, like, throwing powers in front of me, not gonna work yet. Pop up your power, Wolf pallet, hit survivor for free, stack bleeding on them, chase multiple survivors, apply bleeding, look at them dying to bleed out, just all the way across the map, slagging them. So satisfying. Okay, what problems he had? Problems he had, first is that moonwalk exploit, because bleed out could not trigger while he was in chase. So he could chase survivor while moonwalking, and bleed out would be going, but he would be still chasing. Another thing that was broken. Okay, let's before I forget, like, so I won't forget about things I was talking about previously. How would this be fixed? Give him a fixed radius. Like, if survivor in this radius, this close to hunter, bleeding is not going on. Is not progressing. That would have fixed that. What other problems he had? Frank's mixtape, I believe, the add-on. The add-on that basically allows him to down survivor in 3 hits with his power. And hitting survivors with his power is so easy. How could have that been fixed? Well, that already have been fixed, because now Frank's mixtape is trash add-on, nobody uses it, and nobody should, to be honest. Another problem he had, that he could swing in front of him with his knife for as long as he could, and made him impossible. It made it impossible to escape him. Oh, he could pop his power even when it's not fully charged, and he could swing knife as many times as he wanted. Combined, it made survivors it was impossible for survivors to avoid him. That's the thing. So how did they fix that? Well, first of all, they made it that he can't use his power anymore while it's not fully charged. Definitely right thing to do. Second of all, he made it that if he whiffs his attack, it makes his power go on cooldown. Definitely right thing to do. What they did wrong? They did wrong that 4 second stun afterwards. Because now his power is not really, not even the fact that it's not working, it's punishing you. Like let's say you're chasing survivor using your power, you whiff attack, you get, let's say you don't get stunned, you just get, your power goes on cooldown. Okay, no big deal, I can chase survivor regular, still I made use of my power. Maybe it would have helped me, maybe I'll get somebody this way while I couldn't get him with my regular chasing speed, movement speed. But they applied 4 second stun to him, they made it bleed out impossible while survivors are in his terror radius, and they made bleed out stop whenever they mend themselves. So basically, survivor runs away from killer, he has bleed out on him, he's running away, he escaped successfully, he hears that heartbeat, like volume of the heartbeat lowers over time, he starts mending. He hears heartbeat, hunter's somewhere close, he starts running. For this entire time, bleed out doesn't progress even for a second. That's the thing, bleed out just doesn't work anymore. Like, come on, damn, just apply those fixes I said, just, that would have fixed all the issues. The problem is that he will become underpowered, he will be a trash tier killer, but at least he'll be better than what he is right now. He's like worthless. Just damn. Survivors wipe floor with this guy every day. Just worthless. He's bottom tier. He's just lying down on a dumpster, there's nothing he can do about it. And I'm not talking about the fact that, I'm actually talking about the fact that behavior baited us with that screenshots, with that screenshot before the trailer, with that, you know, Frank in front of a mirror and the other three people from Legend standing behind him. But think, like, it has something to do with his power, because that's what you think in the first place, only to realize that it were cosmetics. You don't do that, but okay, I forgave you that, because I like the hunter. But you reworked him, you made him M1 hunter. Give me my money back, like, really, this is not what I paid for. This is a completely different character now. Okay, so, in case you're wondering, I don't actually care about money, there wasn't much, I don't care. So, the thing is, how about actually utilizing his power? How about making something like even more absurd, even more like interesting? How about making it like he's walking around the map with his regular 4.6 movement speed. When he sees a survivor, when survivor starts running away, the chase begins, and then his frenzy kicks in automatically. And he applies bleeding effect and that stuff, maybe boost bleeding, like instead of consuming his power completely, make it like it consumes part of his power, like half of a power when he hits survivor with bleeding effect on him, and it doesn't recharge his power when he hits survivor that doesn't have bleeding on him, but instead he has longer frenzy time. Something like this, and once power runs out, he disappears from a map with like 5 seconds channeling or something like this, like fog appears around him and he disappears. And then fog appears somewhere at the edge of a map and there appears another legend. I have a fixed spawn points for legends, so it wouldn't be random, so it would be consistent, so legend could know where he's gonna spawn next and lead survivors there and play around this. It would be interesting. And the same goes on again. There would be another rule, like something like, I don't know, if survivor goes down to bleeding, he would be able to get up without spending unbreakable, just for free. He can unbreakable for free if he went down due to bleeding. And this is it. He'll be all about map control, applying pressure, killer. Damn, that would be so good. No, they did what they did. And they did the worst killer in the game. He was even worse than Freddy. That's what people say. I actually don't think so, but that's what people say, that he was worse than Freddy. Well, now he's definitely worse than Freddy, thank you behavior. Freddy at least has reduced terror radius and he can teleport to generators. It's terrible, damn it. And now they're not even trying. Now they're not, like, really. Who came after Legend? Let's see. Who came after Legend? This girl, okay, okay, something. This guy, okay, they actually tried, but his power doesn't work, so it doesn't even count. This guy, actually, he's not that original to think of it, but damn, I don't know, like, okay, they tried, but it's not like those guys are something new. It's not like they're different from the trash tier, but there's something in between. It's not like they're original. I showed you original killers, there are not many of them. This guy's a ripoff, this guy's a regular hunter, but with skill shot. Basically ripoff of Bane from Identity 5. And this guy, oh my god, I'm not even starting on it. This is terrible. Like, why? Why? They had such an opportunities, they could do so many sick things with it. Like, give him something like, damn, here's my idea for this guy. Give him movement speed something like 3.5 meters per second, so he would be slower than survivors. And give him like fixed range. In this range he applies the guild aura. Like, whenever survivors are in this guild aura range, their movement and interaction speed lowers, and they just become slower and slower whenever he's near them. The slower they become, the easier he can catch up with them, the more stacks he applies on them. You get the idea. He hits once survivors hit, stacks disappear. That's the thing. Like, they snap out of it. Oh, okay, I don't actually have any guild. Because this is what Pyramid Head is about. He's like a punisher for sins. Why not make something like this? That would be an original idea. I think that's not bad, in my opinion. That's definitely better than what they did. Why is he so damn fast? Why? Damn, of all the killers in this game, this guy should definitely have lower movement speed. Like, much lower than 4.6 meters per second. He should be different, because this is what we see in the games. This is what we saw in Silent Hill series, and Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, and I believe in Silent Hill Homecoming he was pretty fast, but he never appears as a like somebody you encounter. He's just walking around in the background. I don't know. No, he's actually slow there as well. Now I recall it. He's slow there as well. This guy has always been slow. Why is he fast in your game? Why is he? The answer is obvious. The guys did not give him original power. And it's not like they were lazy. It's not like they don't have like ideas behind it. I think they just want to keep it safe. They just want to make him straight like regular M1 killer, like most of them are. Come on, they would notice that he's just reskin of Trapper. He's actually not reskin of Trapper because he has this ranged skill shot which looks overpowered from what I've seen, but I might be mistaken. But still, like, damn, it's not interesting, it's not original. That's the problem about this guy. And definitely, the fact that it's Pyramid Head, could it be anybody else, I wouldn't be complaining so much, but it's Pyramid Head. We know how this guy acts from the sources, we have like original material to work with. His power has nothing to do with Pyramid Head in Silent Hill games. And his movement speed, it's like a nail in the coffin. The final, last nail in the coffin. Did you expect him to have regular speed, like really? Did you expect him to have ranged AoE attack? Did you expect him to hook survivors on hooks without hooks? You probably expected something different. Something that Pyramid Head is known for. None of this happened. None of it. And those 4.6 meters per second, oh my god, I hate it. I understand their strategy though, I understand that they don't care. They wanted to play it safe. They added Pyramid Head in the game. Maybe it was the idea behind to get licensed killer, because licensed killers, I'm pretty sure they can easily make players able to buy licensed killers for in-game currency. I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult to like talk to Konami about this, like, guys, how about make him purchasable for redescent shards, huh? But they just don't. And now licensed killers is just an excuse for them. It's just an excuse for not selling him for redescent shards. He can be purchased for in-game currency because he's licensed. That's it. That's why it's Pyramid Head. That's the thing. Probably they would prefer to add him into the game, because if they would come up with something of their own, well, first of all, they will have to create a new killer from scratch, and second of all, they might not get paid for it as well as for licensed killer, especially since this Pyramid Head, come on, everybody will buy him. So, I guess this is it. Like I said earlier, feel free to disagree. Like I said, there are many subjective things, but like really, if you don't have objective facts to back up your words, like really, I don't know, just, well, of course, feel free to write that Pig and Hag are the best killers in the game, whatever, without any objective like facts behind it. I don't really care. Commentaries are open for anybody. Nobody will be writing anything because, like I said, nobody will be able to find the video there. So, like I said, feel free to leave angry comment, dislikes to the video. Everything, any kind of attention is appreciated. Thanks for watching.